It's almost winter here in North Dakota, and in honor of it being my 100th post on Instagram, I figured I would do a two-part series showing you guys how we prepare for winter in North Dakota. We are only a few weeks away from it potentially being our first snow, so I'm going to go over the top 6 things that you should get for your RV if you plan on staying up here for the winter. The first thing you are going to need is skirting. That's going to be your first line of defense for protecting your underbelly from freezing. We went with a company called Custom Skirting in South Dakota. They came up, measured our camper, and then sent us the vinyl to install ourselves a few weeks later. So far, we have no complaints. We've had it for over a year, but I do have to say, once the temperatures get below 0, you really need to amp it up under there because this vinyl skirting is not enough. Which leads me to my second part. Considering this is our third winter living in our RV, something I wish we did sooner was heat trace all of our lines. We dropped the trailer off at a shop in Colorado where we got all of our lines heat traced, and they also installed heating pads on both of our tanks. This is going to be something that is going to help tremendously when it gets super cold, because sometimes the skirting is not enough. They installed 2 switches on the inside of our camper. All we have to do is turn them on, and we know that we are heated and good to go. Speaking of heat, the next thing you're going to need is some form of heat for underneath your skirting. You can choose between doing electric, propane, or diesel. The choice is yours. We chose to do electric, and we have several reasons why. We talked to a lot of people who have been up here for several years, and we're trying out a new heating system that a lot of them recommended. This should be plenty of heat for underneath the skirting. In about a month, when it gets super cold, we'll go ahead and do a video updating you guys on how well these worked underneath our skirting. The next thing you are going to need is a heated water hose. Now, you can choose to buy one or make one yourself. Whatever your budget is, do what's best for you. We bought ours from Camco, and I'll go ahead and list it right here. Now, make sure that you are installing it correctly and the thermostat is on the outside of your skirting, because we did this the wrong way last year and it wasn't reading the temperature correctly and we ended up freezing. Also, when our first polar vortex came through, we decided to insulate the outside part that was exposed to the air, and that helped a lot as well. You also will need to probably insulate your spigot with a box and some insulation so that way it doesn't freeze. We primarily rely on our furnace to heat the inside of our camper, so that means we go through a lot of propane. So the next thing you're going to need is a big ass propane tank. This is a 120-gallon propane tank. Rough Riders comes to your park and drops it off for you and sets it up. The last thing you want to do is be refilling these tiny little propane tanks during a polar vortex, so definitely recommend getting a much bigger propane tank. They will come to your park and fill it up without you even asking, which is something that I prefer because I don't want to have to call every time it gets low. If somebody in the park is low and calls in, they'll just go through and top everybody else off, which is awesome. And last but not least, another item that you will need is a heated sewage hose wrap. This is the one that we use, and we park our camper closer to the sewage lines. That way we don't have to buy a 20-foot one. This one on Amazon is similar to it, except it's a 20-foot, so just do your research and figure out which one you need. But trust me when I say you do not want to be dealing with your you-know-what freezing down the line when you dump it. Stay tuned for part 2, and if you guys want to see more content from us this winter, go ahead and follow us at Alive Simply Loved on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram.